I'm going to say something very controversial here, so please don't unsubscribe, but I actually appreciate Rosie O'Donnell because without her, we would have never gotten the Donald Trump origin story that, of course, changed the course of politics in America forever. This was Donald Trump's first answer ever at a political debate, and the world will never be the same.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
Look at the audience howling. Just a reminder, they're in a professional stadium here in Cleveland where the Cleveland Cavaliers play. And there's like 30,000 people watching in person. And Donald Trump turns the audience against Megyn Kelly with that genius answer. And thus began the psychotic break of Rosie O'Donnell, who, of course, fled America with her herpes, as you can see right here, open sores on her face, open oozing wounds on her face, and swore she would never return because Donald Trump has forced her to be depressed, overeat, and overdrink. Donald Trump totally broke Rosie O'Donnell. Donald Trump then roasted Rosie O'Donnell in front of the president of Ireland, saying, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why would you ever take Rosie O'Donnell?"
Oh, your happiness level.
Thank you. I like that question.
Mr.
You know you have Rosie
O'Donnell?
O'Donnell?
Are you expecting?
Do you know who she is? Yeah.
I'm joking.
You better off not. You better off not knowing.
Okay. The people of Ireland didn't want Rosie O'Donnell, but Rosie O'Donnell swore that she would never, ever return to the United States of America. The people of Ireland in an interview saying,
the Clintons coming to visit there last year. I'm not best pleased, but us Irish are always welcoming no matter what, I suppose. So
she's saying that she doesn't want the Clintons there, doesn't want Rosie O'Donnell there. Donald Trump continued roasting Rosie O'Donnell, saying, "Ireland, can you keep her?" The head of Ireland says, "All your people this way? We don't want that." Rosie O'Donnell has anti-Trump meltdowns on a daily basis on TikTok instead of bragging that Trump doesn't deserve space in her brain or heart. Okay. Then why is your entire life force revolving around President Trump? Oh, got it. Money. You're not relevant unless you trash Trump. And that's actually because that is your life force and all you know how to do, that's what you're going to continue to do. And it's what Rosie O'Donnell has done. She's returned to the United States multiple times after swearing she would not come back. Rosie O'Donnell missed her secret return to the U.S. to see if it was safe. What's Rosie O'Donnell actually doing? Well, she's flying in a giant private jet. This is a $57 million jet that she's in with Kathy Griffin, right? This is the voice of the oppressed. Also, you're taking these photos. You could just take the flight, right? I've never been in a jet like this, but you could just take the flight and you don't have to post a photo about it. Yeah, that's possible. Then she's going to red carpet events and trashing President Trump in America, calling him an a-hole and a liar. And I was wondering, wait a second, why is Rosie O'Donnell coming back to the United States? Why is she on these private jets? What's she doing? She's now made 3 return visits to the United States. Oh, no. Rosie O'Donnell confirmed for season 30. Return to The View. Rosie O'Donnell will be back on The View for season 30. A former co-host confirmed her return on Monday's episode. And she's going to be back. Remember, The View used to have Rosie O'Donnell on it. This was, she was sort of a central cast member of The View before having a psychotic breakdown and being broken completely by Trump. It turns out she's going to come on back because why? It was never about Trump. It was always about the money. Rosie O'Donnell wants money. She wants fame. She can get it by going after Trump. She doesn't get it sitting in Ireland, finding 4-leaf clovers and leprechauns. She couldn't even stay. She couldn't even take. So Ellen went to England. She sold her place in 8 months. Rosie O'Donnell went to Ireland, lasted a little longer, but it's been 18 months, and now she's out. Now she's back in America, joining The View again. Just when you thought the show couldn't get any worse. No way The View can get any more cringe. Oh, yes, they can. looks like Brendan Carr is going to have some fun. We'll get to that in a moment. Apparently, moving overseas because of Trump derangement syndrome doesn't work out for Rosie O'Donnell. She's back in America and back on The View. Finally, a voice of reason on The View. As I was saying, what The View needed was a really loud, dumb, fat, obnoxious, angry, white liberal woman. Finally! The View is moving to Ireland. Wow. Marjorie Taylor Greene lost to Rosie. The FCC is looking into ABC's decision effectively to platform The View under the guise of it being a neutral news show. ABC contends that The View is just neutral and doesn't include a political bias. And so this is why Brendan Carr is going after them, saying you're lying. This gives you, of course, special carve-outs if you were going to do a neutral news show and provide equal time for all candidates and so on and so forth. But you're going to get a bunch of your privileges stripped away if you don't do that. And so the FCC is suing ABC now, effectively opening up an investigation in ABC. The View, on the other hand, is collapsing. The View is hit by major cost-cutting, with one star denied a pay raise and wardrobe budgets slashed. So The View is collapsing. That's a shame. Look at that. They'd save even more money if they canceled the entire show. Imagine if they cut the makeup artists. Imagine what was happening. Imagine if you saw all these women without full face makeup. The makeup shotgun. Honestly, never met a single person that says they watch The View. No more designer blankets and muumuus. They just put clown costumes on them. It's practically all there is. Again, what if they cut the makeup budget? Are we really calling them stars? No, they're not. So Donald Trump's been trolling Rosie, presumably back to America. And he's been doing it for his entire...
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with TDS? The symptoms can be relentless. Fortunately, I'm Dr. Trump, and I have a treatment plan. Let's hear what some of my patients have to say.
I have been suffering for over a decade, and after listening to Dr. Trump, I can see some results.
Just a reminder that Rosie O'Donnell had needed to see a doctor and should have never been allowed to travel with open herpes sores all over her face. Just a reminder. And a reminder that the single most savage Trump video that exists on the entire internet is about Rosie O'Donnell and her time at The View. And it's just the greatest thing that Trump's ever done on camera. Sorry. Here we go.
Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. Rosie attacked me personally because I was very happy when her talk show failed. The other thing that failed, and this was a real monster, and everybody was suing her, was her magazine. Her magazine called Rosie was a total disaster. So I loved it. I gloat over it. I think it's wonderful because I like to see bad people fail. Rosie failed. I'm happy about it. She's basically a disaster. Well, she called me a snake oil salesman. And, you know, coming from Rosie, that's pretty low because when you look at her and when you see the mind is weak. I don't see it. I don't get it. I never understood. How does she even get on television? I believe Barbara made a terrible mistake putting her on, and I think Barbara's probably paying a big price. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. We're all a little chubby, but Rosie's just worse than most of us. But it's not the chubbiness. Rosie is a very unattractive person, both inside and out. Rosie's a person that's very lucky to have her girlfriend. And she better be careful or I'll send one of my friends over to pick up her girlfriend. Why would she stay with Rosie if she had another choice? She's trying to use ABC and The View to get even with me. But with me, we fight back. I'll probably sue Rosie because she doesn't tell the facts. As an example, I'm worth many billions of dollars. Now, she said I was bankrupt. I never went bankrupt. So probably I'll sue her because it would be fun. I'd like to take some money out of her fat ass pockets. I actually think they ought to look at her whole life and see where she's coming from because I think she's got some very deep-seated problems. Perhaps it should be Rosie that goes to rehab. Rosie is a loser.